You are tuned in to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. Join us now on another exciting metaphysical journey. Relax, tune in, drop out, and take a seat by the fire as we explore new realms and possibilities. This is Magenta Pixie. You can find me at magentapixie.weebly.com. But now, here is Zany Mystic and guest. Enjoy the show.
Greetings and welcome to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. I'm your host, Lance White. Tonight, my guest is Penney Peirce. Penney is a respected and gifted intuitive empath with deep psychological understanding, visionary ability, and business sense. She is one of the early pioneers in the intuition development movement, having worked since 1977 with organizations like the San Francisco-based Center for Applied Intuition, the Institute for the Study of Conscious Evolution, and the Intuition Network, which I believe was established by Jeffrey Mishlove. I'll ask her in a minute. A popular author, lecturer, counselor, and trainer, Penney specializes in intuition and sensitivity development, skillful perception, personal energy and frequency training, dream work, and future trends. She travels widely, working throughout the U.S., Japan, South Africa, and Europe as an advisor to business executives, scientists, psychologists, and other consultants and trainers, and to those on a spiritual path. She has counseled tens of thousands of people worldwide about life and business direction and the fulfillment of destiny. She is the author of 5 books and contributor to many others. We will be touching upon her book Frequency tonight, as that is the one that I have read and recommend, and her other major book is Intuition, and we'll talk about that too. So let's welcome Penney to the show now. Hi, Penney. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being with us. Well, I just loved your book, Frequency, because I've been using that term for a long time about, raising your frequency and resonance and so on and so forth. And you just seem to put it all in one book, which goes beyond the secret and many other metaphysical teachings. How did you begin to come about doing that?
It was a kind of a long process of one thing leading to another, and having worked with intuition development and working with doing life readings, clairvoyant, empathic life readings, for like a long time, over time you would notice, this person's working this way, or this is happening like that, and I would make lots of observations about how consciousness was working or energy was working, and then using my intuition to tune into what was going on under the surface in the world. I always wanted to see did what the inner blueprint or the inner reality parallel the outer reality. That's been one of my favorite things to look at. So I was always looking at trends. And what was going to happen underneath the surface might also affect the outer world in a short time. So I guess it was just through my own curiosity and process of observation constantly and not ever losing the interest in all that, that I just amassed a great amount of information and understanding about these things. And so The Intuitive Way was my first book, and then I wrote several books on dreams and one on the present moment, and then finally the next morphing of things came about as I put it together in Frequency. And I think my main goal there was to talk about what's going on the planet today, but in our personal lives and in society, that there's this big acceleration. And how's that affecting us? And what does it mean? And what's coming afterwards? We have the shift and all this stuff all the metaphysical people talk about. But what does it feel like? I wanted to translate it into tangible terms, common sense terms that people could relate to and say, yeah, I know that. I'm going through that.
Absolutely.
And also to say that there is we are headed towards something better. This is not chaotic and crazy. This is a symptom of the change, and it's just one phase. It's not the end result. So I wanted to give people a roadmap, I guess.
Well, I know a lot of people are disturbed about the various events that are going on around the globe. Some of them seem to be intentionally created that are of a negative vibration. Are all of these things that we see around us playing themselves out, are those at reaching an end of their run? And because it would appear, if one didn't know and didn't have intuitive guidance, it would appear as if things were getting worse and in a descending spiral as far as the evolution of souls is concerned.
Yes.
And yet, on the other hand, we're told that this is the dark before the golden age, or the storm before the light. And what is your view from that, and what have you been able to pull in from the various people that you've worked with professionally as far as their soul missions go?
Well, I mean, of course, there's a lot of stuff going on about 2012 and that being some kind of focal point, but I think it's not going to be as much as everybody thinks, at least in the physical realm. And I think it could span out to 2020 or somewhere around in there, where it's going to take a while for a lot of these shifts to actually register in the physical world. Although I do think things are happening faster and faster because things are coming more and more into the present moment. But so I kind of feel like what you were calling the spiraling down is really a process that has to do with releasing subconscious fears. That we've been suppressing subconscious fears for a long, 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 long time. Didn't want to look at it, could be in denial, didn't have to face it. And it used to be that the vibration on the physical plane was low enough that you could suppress things. Right. There was a place for all that stuff to hide.
Right.
But now the vibration on the planet is getting so high that it's eclipsing the subconscious blockage vibration. And so I see that a lot of the fear stuff is kind of coming like popcorn. It's getting heated up and it's popping up into the conscious mind. And as that happens at an individual level, we seem to have those traumas or things we didn't want to face. They come up into our daily reality. That's the conscious mind. And they reenact. And if you're wise, you just take that as an opportunity to reexamine it all, and then look at it from the soul's point of view and dissolve the fear in it and gain more of the superconscious soul force or soul love and add to the love in your own life, But a lot of people are afraid and they don't know what to do, so they're resuppressing. They're trying to push it back down. And as you do that, it gains even more force because it can't stay down.
Right.
And so of course it just is going to then pop forth with even more momentum. So that's happening at an individual level. And think of this, it's like everybody's individual, fears and dreads are surfacing. Then it's happening societally and in governments and in cultures. So that all the crazy stuff in the news, that's the conscious mind of the country. The current events. So it's going nuts. I mean, it's just flooding in with all kinds of things that used to be secret. They can't be secret anymore.
Well, that's right.
You're getting all the scandals and all this, the revealing the WikiLeaks and all this stuff. And, you can't hide that stuff anymore. So the process is we have to teach people how to learn to clear fear and get out of fear and get back into what I'm calling your home frequency, which is your soul's vibration in the body.
Now, that is the vibration that we come in with in alignment with our blueprint for being here?
Yes, that's a good way to say it, I think. I always think of the home frequency as kind of like the vibration of your soul that's been there in every lifetime, and it's in there in the baby's eyes. You know, you come in and it's just like this glossy, wonderful, free-flowing love.
Yeah.
It's not jaded at all.
Right.
And very enthusiastic and open and receptive. And there are a number of ways to recognize what the soul feels like. You know, it has a lot of different characteristics. I think even cheerfulness or sincerity is a very high quality. It doesn't have to be jacked up into super, you know, superpowers like we have in the media. But anyway, I think the home frequency is your most natural self. If you relax and drop into yourself and just like yourself and enjoy, you know, your preferred state of being, you know, that's it. It's not your left brain.
It's our authentic selves or our essence as opposed to our ego and personality.
Exactly.
Good.
But the personality can be trained to align with the soul's vibration, you see.
Right.
And then it becomes the conduit for the soul to really come all the way into the physical plane. And then this world becomes enlightened.
Do you see that happening increasingly in your work and around the world with your travels, since you do get around a lot more than the Zany Mystic does?
Well, you know, I feel like it's happening, but I feel like where people are right now is that people report commonly that they feel like they're standing in a doorway. Like they're aware that they're leaving an old reality, and they're sort of clear that the old reality has a certain feeling to it, like self-sacrifice or postponement of true joy, or I have to do all these shoulds and please people and suffering and suffer, and basically self-sacrifice in some way. And it's slow. It's that old cause and effect thinking that comes from feeling that you're separate from everything.
Right.
And willpower-based reality, and you know, it's slow. It's sticky. It's you know, and
dense.
Dense, exactly. Yeah. And so you get to the doorway, and then you can look back at that way it's been so far. And of course, most people have this sense that when they get born, they have to put themselves on the shelf for a while because they're not going to be able to get through because their parents are in fear.
Right.
And they have to, you know, adapt and do what their parents believe is right, or they won't survive.
Right.
You know, and then they're going to maybe, hopefully, take themselves off the shelf later on.
Right.
But this is later on, right now.
Oh,
this is the time when we get to put ourselves back into our lives in the way we want.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there's no other time.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting. But, okay, so we're in the doorway, we're realizing, all right, this is the time. But then you look the other way, through the doorway, and go, oh my goodness, what's that world going to be like? You sort of have a little glimpse of it, a little feeling that it's going to be better, but still you're not sure.
Yeah.
And then the left brain is afraid of dying. You know, it's like ego death. It says, I'm not going to stop controlling everything in the world. You know, so it says, that world out there is going to be scary. There's the void out there. It's not, you know, nothing's going to be easy. And it's just, of course, the opposite. So we've got to, right now, I think, people are in this process. I hear everybody saying, I just feel stuck. Yeah. And I know I want to move on. I really want to move on. I don't know how to do it. And there's a lot of negative self-talk going on. Where people are telling themselves declarative statements about what isn't working. You know, and then kind of locking that in.
Yeah.
And, you know, just echoing the old programming. So there are certain techniques right now, I think, that we have to learn to stop maintaining and plugging into the old realities. Right. And just relax a little bit and go into this little soft place where there's a gestation process and where the body can rest and start to make a change out of one set of instructions into a new set of instructions and about how to make reality. Right. That makes a lot of sense. You know, and then once we do that, more people, and I think this will be within a year or so, and this may be what 2012 is large.